and His Messenger ﷺ, and for the Muslim rulers, if they command us with whatever Allah and His Messenger have commanded, and within our capacity. Even Allah's commands, sometimes, it is permitted for us to waive them if one is in certain conditions where he or she cannot afford to fulfill them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. And He said, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. So keep your duties to Allah as much as you can. And that's why He said to one who cannot stand up while praying, while standing is a rukn, is a pillar, and it is required for the validity of the prayer, sit down if you can. And if you can pray while lying down. And He said to one who's traveling, you don't have to fast. And for one who's sick or breastfeeding, you don't have to fast. You can make it up some other time, etc. So if a husband wants to be obeyed, then he should only order or ask, ask his wife to do something that is in line with the, or in compliance with the guidance of the Quran and the Sunnah. Does not order her to do anything that is prohibited or disliked. Number 2, within her capacity. And I guess when some husbands abuse this by ordering their wives not to speak to their parents, not to visit with them, not to answer their phones, they're committing a big sin. They're disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who ordered us to be kind to our relatives, to our parents, and to hold the ties of our kinship. But there are certain areas where really you have to ask the husband, why did you say you should not be doing that? Because he just asked a question, one of those questions. She said that he ordered her not to listen to certain speakers on the internet. Is there a reason? I'm sure it will be best for you to ask him and explain what is the reason. Perhaps he knows that this sheikh, there are a lot of sayings about him, or maybe he answered questions pertaining to aqidah in a wrong way, or whatever. But it is not a dictatorship. It is not for the husband to say, do as you're commanded and you are not allowed to discuss. That is not in Islam. And when Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, who was born and raised in Mecca, which was a very tough place. And when they treated their wives, a wife would not have any say at all. So one day, his wife was arguing with him. He said, are you arguing with me? Are you discussing with me a command of mine? She said, why not? If the Prophet ﷺ allows his wives to discuss and argue with him, and either he would convince them or they would convince him, why not with you? So Umar ibn Khattab had his daughter who was married to the Prophet ﷺ, Hafsa, may Allah be pleased with her. So he ran to her and he said, do you guys do that with the Prophet ﷺ? She said, yes, we do. So if this is the Prophet ﷺ who would allow his wives to ask questions, and he would have to present reasonable answers, or explain to them why yes, why not, things like that, then it is more worthy for his followers to follow his footsteps, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Especially when he said, خَيْرُكُمْ, the best of all of you, خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِهِ, are those who are good to their wives, وَأَنَا خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِي. And then he remarked saying, and I am the best to my family, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the relationship between the couple should not be based on that there is a dictator and there are servants or maids at home. No, it's a matter of وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. Amongst His signs that He created for yourselves, from amongst yourselves, spouses, in order to find repose in them. And what are the elements which will secure this repose and make it happen? وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. Mawaddatan wa rahmah. There are two different things, but they would pour by the end into creating repose, love, mercy, and compassion.
Okay, we have Sister Maryam from the United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum, Sister. You're live and ask.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh, I would like to ask, due to I have a sister working also here in United Arab Emirates, but her madam complaining with me that because she embraced Islam last January, and then the housemaid found out that she do a sign of the cross because she is a Christian before. Then because she is my own sister, then her madam complaining with me, why Mariam, your sister like this? I tell her, Madam, I already gave all my books that I studied before in Islamic Center in Philippines. And then I tell her, oh, what I know is I teach her step by step. And also doing salah. The one, because her madam tell me that it's better she remove her hijab and abaya to make it she do only for that she make a religion. So what should I do for my sister, brother, so that she will not feel angry, and even me to make it clear to her what is the importance of religion for her.
Okay. Jazakallah khair, Sister Mariam there from the UAE. We also have Brother Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live and ask Huda.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh, I wanted to ask about witr. Sometimes, usually I wake up for tahajjud and pray my witr. But sometimes what happens is I don't wake up. So, I miss my witr. Is it permissible that I pray my witr in Isha, and if I wake up for my tahajjud?
Got it. Jazakallah khair, Brother Muhammad there from the UAE. Brother Muzammil from the UAE, he says his friend bought a car on an interest-based loan from the bank. However, he's traveling for a few months and he would like to borrow the car from his friend on the condition that he would pay the rent as the monthly installment to the bank. And he wants to know if this is permissible to do.
Okay, if somebody purchased a car, a vehicle, or a building with a loan that he took and a mortgage from the bank, interest-based, this is haram. Now I am a third party who's renting the place or the vehicle from him, and I'm paying for my usage. That is permissible. I'm not responsible for the first contract that the person have concluded with the bank or whatever. Or otherwise, you know what? I would not find a single person to deal with. So it's as simple as that. كل نفس بما كسبت رهينة. You will be only responsible for yourself and your dealings. You are paying for a certain time that you are renting the vehicle from him. You give him the money and he's free to pay the installment or to do whatever to do with it. And you're not responsible for his very first transaction. Wallahu a'lam. There was one brother who wanted to answer his question during this episode.
Brother Abdullah,
marriage.
Brother Abdullah from you, he wants to know if he can help some non-Muslims in buying a wedding ring for them.
Help some non-Muslims for buying a wedding ring for them. I was under the impression that he is marrying a non-Muslim and it was a condition.
No,
because in Islam we don't have the wedding ring. This is a Christian habit. Okay? Rather we have the dowry. The Quran stated that the dowry is the right for the bride. It is not the right for her guardian, for her family, or for the groom. It is for her. And it's got to be paid by the husband or the groom. So it could be some jewel, it could be clothes, it could be cash, it could be a living place, or whatever. So if you want to assist somebody who is not Muslim in getting married and support them financially in order to get married because they're poor, that's a good cause, but it should not be done from the zakah fund, rather from the voluntary charity. And they're free to do whatever they want to do with it, as long as it is permissible in their faith. Wallahu a'lam.
Okay, we have Brother Idris from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You live on Ask Their questions, please.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I want to know up to what time can one fast during the month of Sha'ban?
Okay.
Voluntary fasting.
Okay. Jazakallah khair, Brother Idris there from Nigeria. Yes, Sister Safiya, she says she wants to know if someone recites an extra surah with Surah Al-Fatiha in the third or fourth rak'ah, what should that person do in order to
If the person does that out of forgetfulness, there is no blame on him. And by the way, it was done a few times by the Prophet ﷺ that he recited